So what we want to do is we really want to focus in, so we're going to cut off the things that are not important. Okay, so I'm going to crop it. So I go up here and I pick my cropping tool, and I just draw a box or drag a box around the area that I want to keep of the picture, okay? And that kind of darkens the area that I don't want. So you can see now by doing that, I've really focused the attention and I've eliminated things that will distract, and I've eliminated wasted space. So my image is going to be much larger on the screen, and you'll do it. If you really want it, you can really focus attention down as tight as you want. So let me make that even smaller. Okay, you double click on it, and it cuts off the part that I didn't want there. You see, if I wanted to crop that down even more, I could crop right down to just Christopher's face. So you can focus in. What you want to do is you want to focus in as much as you can to get the picture down to where you want it. And I'm actually not going to do that, but I'm going to have the picture just like that. Okay. So now I've done the first, the C of my Creo. I've cropped it. Okay. It's C-R-O. The next thing I want to do is I want to resize the picture. This picture is 825 pixels by 753, which would take up almost the entire web page. And so if you're going to have any text or anything like that around it, that's way, way too big. If you resize it inside the actual web page, it still loads the whole picture, so you're killing yourself on load time. So what we want to do is we want to resize it here. So I go up to Adjust, and I click on Adjust, and I come down here to Resize. And I click on Resize. Okay, and so I come down, and I have some options to do that. First of all, it's telling me that the new image that I'm going to resize it to, I can resize it by %, which I don't want to do. I want to resize it by pixels. Okay. The next thing that's important for you to do, and important for you to keep in mind, is there's a little option here that says Keep Aspect Ratio. Now what that will do is it will allow me to change, if that box is checked, it'll allow me to change only one, the height or the width, but I cannot change both, and because it will automatically calculate the other one. Now I've seen a lot of websites and I've seen a lot of images on the web where people make this mistake. They do not keep the aspect ratio, and so they'll get a really skewed picture. It'll look like it's been stretched out or something, and even if it's just a little tiny bit, it doesn't look right and it doesn't feel right, and that can bother people. Even though they don't see it, they may not fully understand what's bothering them, but it'll in the back of their mind, it'll bug them, and you don't want people bugged when they're looking at your website. So please keep your aspect ratio. And I can change the height or I can change the width. I usually change the width and let the height take care of itself. So let's drop this down to, say 300 pixels wide. And then you can see that it's automatically adjusted or calculated the height for me to 274 so that it will be in the correct aspect ratio. I won't have skewed the picture. I won't have made them, they're squished their faces or anything. Also, if you look down a few lines, you'll see resolution, and the resolution is important as well. Back in older years, most of the resolutions were set for screens were set at 72. If I drop down the user defined, you can see it gives me display. Typically, most displays most video screens are running at 96 pixels per inch nowadays. You may see pictures at 300. But that's typically for printing or for a printer. So you want your resolution to be set at 96, which is the resolution for the screen. So when I do that, I'm all done. I click on OK, and bang, there's my picture. It's shrunk it down to the actual size that it's going to be on my website. You can see what's up. That's a much more practical size to use on the website. And I've also decreased the file size, the download size, and the download time by doing that as well. Okay, the last thing of our Creo is optimize, and so what we want to do is we want to optimize this picture. And so on this particular package, I go up here to Web, and I pick Web, and I come down to Image Optimizer, and I click on that. Now what the Optimizer does is it's just a really smart, brainy program that goes through your picture, and it looks for ways to make the file size smaller. Now even with my cropping and my resizing, you can look up here in the Optimizer, you can see that the original picture is still 130,000 bytes of information, which is still pretty big. What I've got here is on the left-hand side, the picture before it's optimized, and then it shows me what the picture is going to look like on the right-hand side once it's done its magic to it and it's reduced it down. But what it does is it looks for wasted colors, and it kind of blends the colors together just a little bit, and you can do it without making a huge impact on your picture. But there's a little slider bar down here that tells you the quality. Even at 90% quality, you can see that it's reduced the picture from 130,000 down to 29,000, which is pretty substantial. It even gives us the download times. The original picture would take 19 seconds to download on a 56K modem, whereas the optimized picture would only take 5 seconds. So if you've got a number of pictures on your screen, that can really add up and make a huge difference to the download time on your screen. Since I'm sort of a photographer at heart, I don't like to push my pictures down too much, and so I usually optimize only to about 90%. You could go down to 80%, and depending upon the picture you've got and how many colors there are on it, you may be able to drop it down. What you can do is slide this slider bar down until you see the picture start looking bad, and then slide it back up a little bit. But typically, I don't even bother with that too much. I just run everything at 90%. And once you've played with that a little bit, you can see what you're comfortable with and what you want to do with that as well. So once I've got that decided, I just click on Save As, and it will allow me to save it. Now, this new one I'm going to call Chris Dunn. So I'm going to just click on the top of that one that I did in my last one, and we'll just override it. Okay, and so now we've got that picture cropped, resized, and optimized. CRO, just to remember that, CRO. And you want to do them in that order. But you need to do that to every image before you put it out to the website. And using whichever package, like I said, Photoshop or whatever other packages you're going to do, you're still going to do the same thing. You're going to crop them, cut off the pieces you don't need. You're going to resize them, shrink them down to the size that you're going to use on the website. And you'll have to play with that a little bit, because once you copy it up and you see it in the web page, you may want to increase the size a little bit or decrease the size, and so you'll have to come back and go through this process again. But once you've done it a few times, you get to the point that you kind of know what size you want for your web page, and so you can do that easily. And then the optimizing, which flattens the colors to decrease the file size and increase your load times. So, okay, so we're ready with that picture. We've got it ready to use for the web. So we're just going to close this down.